world. CN8, the Comcast network.
From the Academy of Music in Philadelphia, it's Philadelphia Orchestra Live with your hosts for the evening, Lynn Doyle, Pat Scanlon, and Karen Friedman. Featuring a performance of Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony by the revered Philadelphia Orchestra. A sneak preview of the orchestra's new home in the Regional Performing Arts Center. Segments from the PBS special, The Maestros of Philadelphia. Guest appearances by the music director Wolfgang Sawallisch, cellist Yo-Yo Ma, pianist Emmanuel Axe, and a special performance by the Philadelphia Orchestra Brass Quintet. Now, from the lobby of the Academy, Lynn Doyle and Pat Scanlon.
Welcome to a very exciting night of television, the first Cablethon to support the world-renowned Philadelphia Orchestra. Hello, I'm Lynn Doyle from Comcast.
And I'm Pat Scanlon of Comcast, and together we're here to bring you an incredible evening of musical performances, celebrity interviews, profiles, and much more, Lynn.
It will be a star-filled night with some of the greatest talents in the world of music. Experience the power and passion of the Philadelphia Orchestra's live performance of Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony. They've been hailed in London, acclaimed in Vienna, and cheered in Tokyo. Tonight, they will play just for you in their first television broadcast from right here at the historic Academy of Music since 1993, and it promises to be a very exciting night, Pat.
You can already feel the excitement and the tension in the air here in the foyer. And tonight's show also marks the premiere of a Cablecast First, a cooperative effort among a consortium of major cable companies who have generously joined together on behalf of America's most acclaimed orchestra. Also joining us tonight from in the front of the Academy is host Karen Freeman. Hello, Karen. How are you tonight?
And hello to you, Lynn, and also to Pat. In fact, hello to everyone out there. I have to tell you, tonight's rundown is extremely exciting. We will talk live with Maestro Sawallisch, plus you'll get a complete look at the maestros who have led the orchestra for nearly a century. You can explore the rich history of this great arts institution, enjoy interviews with brilliant guest artists like cellist Yo-Yo Ma and pianist Yefim Bronfman, as well as Emmanuel Axe. Also, watch the orchestra's brass quintet perform and take a sneak peek at the orchestra's future home in the Regional Performing Arts Center. So that's a lot on tap, Pat. Back to you.
It certainly is, Karen, and this is a memorable evening for classical music fans and an opportunity for everyone to show their appreciation for the arts. Make a pledge to yourself to give generously tonight. The orchestra has an ambitious agenda to share the gift of music. Money raised will go toward funding free concerts for students, enhancing instrument instruction and music education in schools, as well as developing programs to bring the orchestra out into the community. So it's a lot riding on tonight's program, and we hope that everyone will participate, Lynn.
Our first half hour of this program is being sponsored by Cigna. For over a decade, Cigna has supported the orchestra's international tours to Asia, Europe, and South America. During this half hour, Cigna will match your pledge dollar for dollar. If you've been thinking about becoming a member, now is the time to do so. We need your support. Just call our volunteers at 1-800-457-8354. And to thank you, we have these special gifts. Become a $50 member of the Philadelphia Orchestra Association, and you'll receive this keychain along with 3 open rehearsal passes and a subscription to the orchestra's newsletter. Imagine the thrill of being invited to a working rehearsal of your favorite orchestra. If you give $75, you'll receive membership, plus this poster designed by the Philadelphia artist with the international reputation, Sam Maiden. Or if you prefer to wear your art, choose the t-shirt with the same beautiful design.
And those are some great thank you gifts, Lynn. And for a pledge of $100, you'll get a CD featuring live performances of Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony and Serenade for Strings. Or for the gourmet, a tasty treat. Choose a copy of Bravo 2, the best-selling cookbook of the Philadelphia Orchestra. Your gift is partially tax-deductible and easy to make with a major credit card. Now, if you give $150, you'll get a VHS of the PBS special presentation, The Maestros of Philadelphia. You'll see excerpts from this wonderful production in tonight's show, so we hope that you'll be sticking around for us all night long. It promises to be a great evening of entertainment, Lynn.
Become a $500 member and get one of everything. So if you're someone who has trouble making choices, this may be the way to go. We have a one-of-a-kind gift for the first pledge of $3,500 or more. This couch and chair used by Maestros Sawallisch and Moody. A true collector's item from their office to yours, or you could show it off in your home. Imagine what a conversation piece this item would make, and it would be a great way to show your support. If you're interested, please call our volunteers at 1-800-457-8354. We do ask that you make your pledge now so that you can sit back and enjoy the rest of the show guilt-free. Karen, is that an incentive to get involved?
Incentive to get involved. And speaking of here, I am here with somebody who can certainly enjoy it guilt-free, you might say. Tony Garrison is the president of the Volunteers Committee for the Philadelphia Orchestra. This is a vital and very active group that has been supporting the orchestra for 93 years and now, I understand, boasts over 600 members. Maybe we should start, Tony. First of all, thank you for being here.
You're so welcome. It's a pleasure.
And secondly, maybe you can explain to us your role as president.
Well, my role as president of the Volunteer Committees for the Philadelphia Orchestra is basically a coordinator for over 600 volunteers who live in the tri-state area, who come from all walks of life. We have working members and non-working members. Who all love and support the Philadelphia Orchestra.
And obviously, like a lot of organizations, you work by committee. Approximately how many committees do you have? And maybe you can give us an overview of what some of those committees do.
Surely. We have 12 committees, including a Young Friends group, who are located throughout the tri-state area. Many of them, some of them are in New Jersey, a lot of them are in the Philadelphia area, and they all have their own structures. And we work very hard at doing fundraising, education, and outreach projects for the orchestra.
You know, you just said the magic word. That word, of course, being fundraising, which is a word that we're going to hear over and over and over again tonight. It's crucial. It's why we're here. What can we, the audience, the community, do to help?
Well, you can call the 800 number and pledge a donation for the Philadelphia Orchestra. It will help to support it. It will help us in our community outreach projects. It will help us in our educational outreach projects. And we need your help. We are very much in love with our orchestra. We're passionate about it. We hope you will learn to become a friend of the orchestra. We're reaching a whole different audience tonight. And please call in.
And if I may add, I'm a Philadelphian, so I understand why Philadelphians are passionate about their orchestra.
They are.
Thank you very much for joining us. It is a very exciting night indeed. We're glad to have you be a part of it, and good luck with all of your work for the Volunteer Committee. Lynn, that, speaking of incentive, should be incentive for everyone.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much, Karen. Our next guest is an internationally award-winning cellist, a member of the Philadelphia Orchestra Cello Section, and an association board member. Udi Bar-David, thank you very much for being with us.
Good evening. Good evening.
Tell me, what makes the Philadelphia Orchestra different from any other orchestra, not only in this area, in this country, but in the world?
I would say it's the unique sound, the lush, velvety sound, which has been associated with the orchestra for many generations. The combination of what I believe is a superb artistry and musical energy, and that's what has been making the orchestra so loved all over the world.
What contributes to that musical energy to which you referred?
It's the spirit of the musicians, it's their individual quality as performing artists, it's the conductors that join the orchestra. I mean, we've had the fortune of having some of the greatest conductors coming through the history and being a part of this institution. So it's the spirit that carries this orchestra.
What does make this orchestra so attractive to the musicians and to the maestros who come in as guest conductors, as well as to the people of the region?
Well, first of all, it's the tradition. I mean, going back to the days of Tchaikovsky and then Ormandy, and the orchestra just developed the first one to record. I mean, this orchestra developed such a reputation worldwide that everyone always wanted to be associated with the Philadelphia Orchestra, and that is what we are preserving and looking into the future to do as well.
All right. We wish you the best of luck this evening. It was nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the Tchaikovsky.
Thank you. I'm certain that we will. Now, this half hour of our program is sponsored by Cigna. During this half hour, Cigna will match your pledge dollar for dollar. If you've been thinking about becoming a member, now is the time to do so. Coming up, a stirring experience. The musical excitement of the Philadelphia Orchestra's brass quintet playing Bach's Contrapunctus No. 9 and Gabriella Cantona Personaire No. 2, featuring David Bilger and Christopher Martin on trumpet, Shelley Showers on horn, Eric Carlson on trombone, and Blair Bollinger on bass trombone. Beautiful music, and there's more when the orchestra performs Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony live. Remember, you can call in with a pledge anytime during the show at 1-800-457-8354. Our volunteers are waiting to take your call. This half hour of our show is sponsored by Cigna, the overall sponsor of the upcoming 1998 Tour of the Americas to California, Mexico, and South America. During this half hour, Cigna will match your pledge dollar for dollar. So if you've been thinking about becoming a member, now is the time to do it. For over a decade, Cigna has supported the orchestra's international tours to Asia, Europe, and South America. Since 1900, the Philadelphia Orchestra has received acclaim for performances around the globe. No matter where you live, this renowned arts institution has made its mark. Did you know that they were the first symphonic orchestra to make electronic recordings? They were the first to perform on a soundtrack of a feature film, the first to appear on national television, and in 1997, the orchestra made history again by becoming the first major orchestra to give a live cybercast of a concert on the internet. Pat, are you surprised to find out how many firsts Philadelphia has been involved in?
Well, I was very much so, and I'm very happy to be excited about another first for the orchestra and for cable operators in New Jersey and Philadelphia, because tonight, through a generous consortium of cable companies, they're joining together to bring you Philadelphia Orchestra Live, an unprecedented cooperative effort to raise funds. We want to thank all the cable companies involved, including Adelphia, Wade Cable, Lower Bucks Cablevision, Suburban Cable, Greater Media Cable, Heron Communications, the Cable Television Network of New Jersey, and Comcast. Plus, a special thanks goes out to our media sponsor, the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News, for their support. And you can help too by calling our volunteers now at 1-800-457-8354. It's easy to support the arts with your generous contribution to the Philadelphia Orchestra. Please become an Orchestra Association member for just $50 and receive 3 open rehearsal passes and a subscription to the orchestra newsletter. Plus, we'll send you that nifty keychain to show off your support of the arts. $50, that's a lot less than you would pay for an evening out to take a date to see a performance like the one you're going to witness here tonight for free. So just call, please, 1-800-457-8354. It will only take a minute, and you can use MasterCard, Visa, or Discover Card. Lynn, I think you've used those once or twice in your past.
Once or twice, and I hope that you'll use them this evening for your gift. And you can make your gift go further by asking your employer to match it. Many companies do offer matching programs. If you become a $75 member, you can choose this poster, specially created for the orchestra by the multi-talented artist Sam Mayton. Or choose the limited edition t-shirt of the same design to show off your support of the arts every time you wear it. Or for just $100, pick up a CD in commemoration of tonight's show of all Tchaikovsky performed live by the orchestra. Dial 1-800-457-8354 and tell our volunteers that you want to choose a gourmet delight instead. A copy of the orchestra's popular cookbook, Bravo 2. It might make a great Mother's Day gift.
Well, it's on my list right now after you've told us that, Lynn. And take a stand for the arts with a $150 gift. And you'll receive your own VHF of the Maestros of Philadelphia, the highly acclaimed PBS show. For $500, you'll get one of each. Every item you've just seen. That could take care of your entire holiday gift list for the year. So if you love music, share that gift by becoming a member now. 1-800-457-8354. Now let's go outside to Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Pat. Thanks. I'm with 2 people right now who certainly love music. Their names, Hal Robinson, Principal Bass and board member of the Philadelphia Orchestra Association, along with Principal Viola, Roberto Diaz. You gentlemen are certainly accomplished, and we thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hal, let me begin with you. You have played, I believe, with the D.C. Orchestra and with other orchestras. Perhaps you could start by telling us what distinguishes Philadelphia's orchestra.
It's quite obvious. The Philadelphia Orchestra has a tremendous tradition. It has the Philadelphia sound. It's just one of the greatest orchestras.
Perhaps you could even share with us some of the details for what's coming up in the 98-99 season.
I knew you'd ask me that question, and I didn't memorize the entire thing, but I did see a couple of Mahler symphonies. I saw a couple of Shostakovich symphonies. I see a very exciting Strauss festival, a festival of American music, among other things.
So that's quite an agenda.
Busy.
Roberto, you are going on tour with the orchestra to, let's see if I can remember all of this, though I do have my note cards, to California, to Mexico, to South America, I believe, as well. What is your itinerary for that upcoming tour?
Well, we started with about a week of concerts in California. We're playing in San Francisco and Santa Barbara in a couple other cities in California. Then we go to Mexico City for I think about 3 or 4 days, and then to Brazil for concerts in Sao Paulo and Rio, and then I think we do a couple of concerts in Buenos Aires, and we finish in Santiago.
Can't imagine how many suitcases you'll have to take along with you. This is one of the most traveled orchestras in the world. When did it start traveling? When did you start traveling with it?
Well, actually, this is my only my second tour with the orchestra, but I know that the orchestra has been touring really since it was about 10 years old. So I think around 1910 or 11 that the orchestra started doing tours in the U.S., and I think about the 40s or so they started touring the world, actually.
Any idea how many times the orchestra may have been to South America, either of you?
I think the orchestra went to South America about 3 or 4 years.
It was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
4 years ago. So then this must be extremely special.
I think so. I mean, especially for me, in that being from Santiago, it's a chance for me to play with the great Philadelphia Orchestra in Santiago, and I'm sure there'll be some aunts, uncles, and grandparents of sorts there, so it'll be fun.
And it's also a chance to play with the great Maestro Sawallisch. What can you, if anything, tell us about him?
The main thing I can tell you about Sawallisch is that he has the absolute respect of the orchestra players. You just see it in everyone's eyes and in everyone's attention at the concerts. Everyone loves to work with him. He's just a master.
Quite a compliment. We will be talking with him later this evening. But thank you. Good luck to you. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we're certainly looking forward to your performance. Pat, inside to you.
Thank you very much, Karen. What a wonderful couple of interviews out there on the steps of the Academy of Music, this historic building. And now I'm joined here in the lobby by Mr. Ralph Roberts, the chairman of Comcast Corporation, the parent company of Comcast Cable, which is producing tonight's show. And Mr. Roberts, we're very happy to be here tonight. And tell us a little bit about how the Philadelphia Orchestra began this project and it first approached you about it.
Well, a few weeks ago, Joe Kluger, the president of the Philadelphia Orchestra, called me up and reminded me that there was no way for them to have their annual fundraising telethon because the radio station that normally carried it was no longer involved in anything of classical music. And he asked me whether it was possible for the cable industry to get together and perhaps provide that service. Well, I thought it was a wonderful idea. And I contacted all of my cable friends in the area, and sure enough, they responded magnificently. Every one of them said, sure, we'll help out. This is the greatest orchestra in the world, and anything we can do to make it better, we're going to do it. And as a result, we all got together and made a wonderful showing as far as the entire community is concerned to make this really happen.
Well, this certainly is an unprecedented event tonight in the Philadelphia cable industry and for cable companies around the country as well. And really, when you take a look at the types of original programming and the efforts that the cable companies are making in the community, this is certainly one of the most significant events of its kind.
Well, I think it's the first time that the cable industry has ever gotten together the way we have here in Philadelphia. Comcast has been in the business for over 35 years, and one of the principal objectives of our community relations is to find ways to become involved in the community, help out, and do things that are good for the people everywhere. And I think that's a typical feeling of most cable operators, and we're very proud to be one.
Certainly the Philadelphia Orchestra, you are no stranger to its accomplishments, a former board member. And tell us a little bit about how important the Philadelphia Orchestra is to the city of brotherly love.
Well, I'll tell you, if you were coming from any part of the world, one of the things you'd know about Philadelphia, of course, is the Liberty Bell. And I think following the Liberty Bell is the Philadelphia Orchestra. I think that orchestra is so well known, so appreciated, that it's marvelous, and we're all proud to have it. You know, they have their China tours, and they visit all parts of Europe, and the world knows about us. And therefore, we want to do everything we can to keep it strong. And we're pleased, for example, that the Avenue of the Arts has been built, and Mayor Rendell has been the principal sponsor, and as a result, the orchestra is going to have even a greater place to play in, as much to all of our benefits.
Well, Ralph Roberts, I know you're ready to go inside now and watch some of the performance tonight with one of the most important volunteers for the orchestra, Suzanne Roberts, behind us here, ready to go in. So thank you very much for your efforts tonight on behalf of Comcast and all the cable operators in this area.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is a historic night, and Karen, the excitement beginning to build here once again inside the Academy of Music.
And out here as well, Pat, you can certainly feel it. You may not recognize this man's face that we're about to introduce you to, but many of you will certainly know his voice. Dave Conan is the classical music coordinator and a host on Temple University's public radio, WRTI-FM. Good evening.
Good evening.
And very good to see you again.
It's good to be here.
You have been associated with the Philadelphia Orchestra actually for a long time, I believe.
Probably about 20, 22 years.
Oh, you don't look that old.
Well, I'm only 25. But yeah, we started what we used to call marathons. It became radiothons back in the mid-'70s, around the bicentennial year, on WFLN, late lamented full-time classical music station.
And now there's quite an association between RTI and the orchestra.
WRTI, well, Temple University decided to pick up the classical format about 7 months ago, and so we've maintained the relationship between the radio and the orchestra.
Tell me a little bit more in detail, if you will, about this partnership and what it can offer.
Well, we think that the fact that we can broadcast the orchestra's concerts over our network, which goes from actually from Scranton to Dover, from Atlantic City to Harrisburg, increases the reach on a weekly basis of the orchestra. And of course, it's something that is good for Temple University, for the image of the university, and for the radio station itself.
Then could we possibly expect to hear Tchaikovsky's Fifth on WRTI tonight?
Funny you should ask. As a matter of fact, yes, we'll be hearing somewhere around 10 minutes before 9. We'll cut back to hear the Tchaikovsky Fifth.
You know, whenever you read about orchestras, and certainly the Philadelphia Orchestra, you always hear about international reputation. How important is international reputation? And maybe my follow-up question should be, why is it so important?
I think it's extremely important. People all over the world know about the Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, but those are very American icons. The orchestra is an international voice. The music is international, and people know the city by the name of the orchestra. It's one of the reasons that I came here in the first place.
Well, thank you very much, and we're certainly glad that you're here with us tonight.
Thank you.
You're in for quite an evening, I assure you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lynn, all yours.
Thanks, Karen. Just ahead, you're going to meet the maestros of Philadelphia. But first, why don't you take a moment to reach out to the orchestra that reaches out to you, and so many others from diverse communities in Philadelphia and beyond.
Lynn, they can do that by calling 1-800-457-8354. Use your MasterCard, Visa, or Discover. For as little as $50, you can help offset the cost of the school visitation program that inspired this letter from one young fan. Dear orchestra member, I loved your show. I really wanted to play the violin. I always wanted a special thing that I could do, and now's my chance. A great comment from one of the folks taking part in one of the many outreach programs the Philadelphia Orchestra takes part in.
And many times, Pat, it is the children that benefit from the outreach programs here at the Philadelphia Orchestra. This is your chance to become a $50 member, and you can actually be invited to open rehearsals. You get the orchestra newsletter and this beautiful keychain as a reminder every time you open your door that you made a difference. Now, if you think one person does not make a difference, you're wrong. Individual contributions do count. Pledge $75 and add it to your membership. You'll get a special poster designed by Sam Mayton. His works are in collections now around the world, and you can soon display them in your home. Or on your back, if you prefer, you can choose the t-shirt of the same design. Your pick with a $75 pledge.
And if you make a donation of $100, we'll send you a CD of your favorite orchestra featuring live performances of Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony and Serenade for Strings. Or if you prefer, we'll send you Bravo 2, the cookbook of the Philadelphia Orchestra, including the favorite recipes of Mrs. and Maestro Sawallisch. You are what you eat, so you could become a brilliant conductor. I can only hope. And your gift is partially tax deductible. Most of all, our volunteers are standing by at 1-800-457-8354 to thank you for your contributions. Give a $150 pledge to help fund the orchestra's core educational programs, and we'll send you a videotape of the Maestros of Philadelphia. You could turn that into a $300 pledge with a company match. Check with your employer to see if they will participate. Become a $500 member and receive every gift we've just described. The ultimate satisfaction of knowing that you've helped inspire another devotee of wonderful music. And here is a one-of-a-kind gift for the ultimate orchestra fan. Be the first person to pledge $3,500 and receive the couch and chair used by maestros Sawallisch and Muti in their Academy office. All that by calling 1-800-457-8354. Coming up next, their lives inspired generations of music lovers. Their stories inspired PBS's great performances to produce The Maestros of Philadelphia.
Initially a violinist, recast the sound as more streamlined and velvet-like. The orchestra's sound under Muti was even leaner and more transparent, and had greater muscle. Wolfgang Sawallisch now brings to the orchestra the traditions of mainline European culture. He is one of the world's outstanding men of music, and for over 20 years has been the artistic director of the Bavarian State Opera.
The first time I heard the orchestra was here in Philadelphia. During my first visit in 1966, I heard 2 or 3 performances conducted by Ormandy. I had the best impressions, the fabulous sound and the discipline and the marvelous brilliance of the Philadelphia Orchestra. During my first visit in Philadelphia, Ormandy asked me to be his successor, and I was very honored, but I couldn't say yes due to my contracts. And you know, a second time, Ormandy asked me to take over the responsibility for his orchestra, and I couldn't agree even for the second time. I was very sad about this. And to take over the orchestra in 1993, this was really a surprise for me. I never thought that the orchestra will come for the 3rd time to me to be the music director here.
My dear strings now. You know the horn section, da da dee da da dam, da 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 dam, and you have always dam bam bam. Please da 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 bam. Wait a little, accompany the music, please, please.
For nearly 3/4 of a century, the special sound produced by the Philadelphia Orchestra has become envied throughout the world, in concert and on recordings, as the Philadelphia sound.
Every time I walk on that stage, I'm so thrilled by the thought what I'm about to hear and to see when I look at them, because I see everybody around me. I see their faces, how they react to my beat, how my eyes. We talk with our eyes to each other.
that incredible? We'd like to extend special thanks to Temple University Public Radio for simulcasting tonight's live performance. And there's more excitement yet to come. We'll be live with Maestro Sawallisch, have yet another performance by the orchestra, talk with cellist Yo-Yo Ma, pianist Emmanuel Axe, and other musicians, and show more of the maestros of Philadelphia. If you can appreciate the richness that a renowned arts organization like the Philadelphia Orchestra brings to the world, then please become a member of the Orchestra Association. After you have just now enjoyed this wonderful performance, get to the telephone and call us at 1-800-457-8354. Our volunteers are waiting to talk to you, and your gift will ensure that others have the opportunity to experience the power and the passion of music like only the Philadelphia Orchestra can perform it. You don't have to live in Pennsylvania to join America's most acclaimed orchestra. It has members from neighboring states and, of course, fans all over the country. One of them is Pat Scanlon.
Oh, Lynn, that was just spectacular as we see Maestro Sawallisch back on the stage, and the crowd recognizing their performance tonight with a standing ovation. Now, we realize that you were just enthralled by that orchestra presentation, but now we're asking you to go to the phone and support the Philadelphia Orchestra by calling 1-800-457-8354. What a spectacular performance tonight. We're happy that all the cable operators in the New Jersey and Philadelphia area could support this effort, and now we hope that you will take the next step by pledging. You're able to use Visa, MasterCard, or Discover, so please call and become a member of the Philadelphia Orchestra. And of course, as you do with your contribution, part of it is tax deductible. We need your help now. Ticket sales alone cannot fund the many unique programs of the orchestra. In fact, if you bought a ticket for a performance like this, as many of the people behind me did tonight who are strolling out now, you'd pay less than half of what that ticket would cost if you had to rely on income just from ticket sales alone. So, Lynn, a very worthy cause tonight. We get a taste of the great sound of the Philadelphia Orchestra, and now we hope our viewers tonight will support us.
We certainly do, and it's very important at this time because government funding has dropped nearly $500,000 in the past decade. Education budgets for the arts have been slashed. Most school music programs are in desperate need of instruments, books, and instruction materials, all while inflation has increased and the orchestra's efforts and agenda have been expanded. Your dollars go towards side-by-side rehearsals for aspiring musicians, free concerts for students, instrument instruction, community arts education, interactive experiences for preschoolers, teacher manuals, videos and classroom visits for our schools, outreach programs, and reduced ticket prices to make the orchestra accessible to everyone. The new collaborative effort among the orchestra, the School District of Philadelphia, and the Settlement Music School promises to enrich music appreciation and enhance musical access to thousands of children in the public school system. As one middle school teacher wrote to us, "I cannot estimate the role music plays in our lives. Attending the rehearsal was one of the highlights of my year as a teacher, and I'm sure their exposure to classical music might germinate a seed which will someday come to fruition." Karen, isn't that a wonderful thought?
Yes, absolutely, Lynn, and you put it so well. I'll bet it was the highlight for students, too, and that's why you should call now, 1-800-457-8354. It's a great opportunity and a great way to take a stand for the arts. You know, you can become a member for as little as $50, and you get a lot just for joining. You get passes to open rehearsals, and you get the association newsletter. Plus, as we've shown you all night, this nifty little keychain. Send a check or even charge your membership if you like. For $75, you do get the basic membership, but you also get to choose this limited edition poster created for the orchestra by artist Sam Maitland. If you prefer to wear your art, well, perhaps you want to choose this t-shirt of the same design. Yours once again for $75, and that's just a way to support the orchestra. For just a little bit more, $100, you can own a special commemorative CD recording of the orchestra playing Tchaikovsky, or you can pick up a great Mother's Day gift, the orchestra's popular Bravo 2 cookbook. It includes Mrs. and Maestro Sawallisch's favorite recipes, and again, that phone number, 1-800-457-8354. So make your gift count twice. If you're thinking of pledging, check with your employer to see if they offer a matching program, as many employers in the area do.
For even a little bit more, just a little bit, a $150 pledge, you will receive a VHS of the entire Maestro of Philadelphia show. And if you can't decide, well, here's another thought. For $500, your membership will include one of everything. You'll feel great. You'll have wonderful reminders of your generosity to use all year long. And we're still waiting for that very special call to give away the Maestro's couch and chair. Here's what's special. It's the real thing. It was used by Maestros Sawallisch and Muti. It's a very unique collector's item for a gift of $3,500. 1-800-457-8354. And Lynn, we're waiting for those phones to keep ringing and ringing again.
All right. Thanks, Karen. The Philadelphia Orchestra has many fans, and they are very lucky to have Henry Cohen as a strong supporter and a seasoned subscriber. He joins us now. Hi, it's nice to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Why have you been such a long-time supporter of the Philadelphia Orchestra?
Well, music is a very important part of our lives. The orchestra, along with the opera and the chamber music, play a crucial role in our life, and we want to make sure that it survives and flourishes.
And how can we do that? How can we make sure that the orchestra and the music that we enjoy from it does survive and does flourish in our community?
Well, in addition to contributing to support the orchestra, I think we have to be public relations ambassadors. We have to talk up the orchestra and get our friends and family to subscribe and contribute to the orchestra.
When there are so many causes out there asking for our help, what makes the Philadelphia Orchestra so different that you would inspire people to go to the telephone right now, call the number on the screen, and make a donation regardless of its size?
Because it's a great organization, great musicians, great music director, great programs, and you're going to have a lot of fun listening to the orchestra.
Do you think that people can develop an interest in this kind of music at any age of their lives?
I certainly do. I was not interested in this type of music until I got married, and my wife got me interested in it. And as the years go by, I've developed a stronger and stronger taste for the music and a more sophisticated taste as I got exposed to more complicated works after the initial sweet, nice, easy to understand music.
One of the things that people sometimes think is that they can't make a huge contribution, so it probably doesn't make a difference if they just send in $25, $50, $75. What would you say to them?
I would say every little bit helps. We've all got to support the orchestra because in a city like Philadelphia, where we need to have first-class cultural institutions, the orchestra plays a very big role.
Well, we wish you continued success, and thank you for your support over the years.
Thank you.
And of course, we'd like to have your support, so if you'd like to call us now, this would be a good time. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with a special segment on Maestro Sawallisch right after this.
Stay with us as the power and passion of the Philadelphia Orchestra continues on Philadelphia Orchestra Live.
Brighter, cleaner, faster, friendlier. These days at Sunoco, you'll find a better choice of gas, a quicker way to pay, and a warmer atmosphere than ever before. We've been working to make your Sunoco station work faster, smarter, and better for you. Because the quicker you stop, the sooner you can get going again. Sunoco, just ahead.
So here's a question for you. How do you introduce children to the dynamic world of classical music? We think we have an answer. Robert Capana, Executive Director of the Settlement Music School, better have some answers, and if you don't, you certainly have some ideas. Maybe as a starting point, we should say, Music Education Partnership. You know what that is, I know what that is, but perhaps you could explain it to all of our viewers.
The Music Education Partnership is a really innovative and exciting new program that the Philadelphia Orchestra, the Settlement Music School, and the School District of Philadelphia is using now to introduce kids in about 60 elementary schools to the instruments of the orchestra, and then eventually give them an opportunity to learn how to play.
So then there are long-range goals that are associated with the program, kind of like a combined partnership that strives for the same end result?
Yes, the idea basically is that there are many kids in schools around the city who don't really have the opportunity to know what the instruments are initially, and certainly don't have the opportunity to meet face-to-face members of the orchestra. And the idea is that we send ensembles made up of orchestra members, Settlement Music School faculty into these schools over the course of a year to demonstrate all the instruments.
Is it a new program, a relatively new?
New this year.
So have you just completed the first year?
We're just coming to an end of the first visits.
And any way of gauging the results or how you've done it?
It's been very exciting. We've reached, I think, about 18,000 students, and we've gotten letters and cards from over 3,000 of them.
And so obviously it's something that you'll continue.
Oh, indeed.
Don't you do similar education programs, maybe even connected with the orchestra, that are not only just in the schools, but also taken out into the community?
Oh, yeah. The idea of the Music Education Partnership really is to provide a way into a whole structure that exists that a lot of kids might not have access to. And that structure includes the opportunity to come to Settlement Music School to study with financial assistance and scholarship aid, as well as many other providers around the city.
And do any of the Settlement Music School graduates end up performing at the Philadelphia Orchestra?
Oh, indeed. The newest member of the violin section is a former student of ours, Richie Amoroso.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you for joining us on this very special night.
It's a real pleasure.
And good luck in your program. Pat, back to you.
All right, Karen, thanks very much. Of course, we've had a great evening already. There's still more great music ahead, and we invite you to support the Philadelphia Orchestra by calling 800-457-8354. Now, stay tuned for a conversation with cellist Yo-Yo Ma and a live interview with Maestro Sawallisch. And thanks to the cable companies who came together for this unprecedented effort to raise funds for the Philadelphia Orchestra. Adelphia, Wade Cable, Lower Bucks Cablevision, Suburban Cable, Greater Media Cable, Heron Communications, the Cable Television Network of New Jersey, and Comcast. Plus, we'd like to thank our media sponsor, the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News, for their support of promoting tonight's fundraiser for the Philadelphia Orchestra. And certainly, with them getting out the word, it was a major help in our effort tonight.
And we certainly do appreciate that. Now, while the orchestra's programs have expanded, their expenses have also steadily increased. Inflation alone has taken its toll. And while government funding has decreased, school budgets for the arts are dropping as well. Ticket sales make up only 43% of the budget. Now that money has to come from somewhere, and that somewhere is you. Make a pledge to yourself to make your mark by becoming an Orchestra Association member. Call us at 1-800-457-8354 and take a stand for the arts. You can even charge it. We make it that easy for you to get involved. You can use your Visa, MasterCard, or Discover. And we have great gifts to thank you for your support, because really, you are very important to us, and we do, Pat, appreciate each and every phone call.
Absolutely, and talking about those great thank you gifts, Lynn, a basic membership of $50 brings you great music and community education programs all year long. That's a whole year for less than you might spend for one evening. Plus the keychain to show everyone that you know that art matters. And for $75, you also get this t-shirt that's designed by Philly's own Sam Mayton, an internationally acclaimed artist. Or choose to display the artist's limited edition orchestra poster that you were looking at just a moment ago in your home or your office. Of course, you can always wear the t-shirt for $100, which is partially tax deductible, by the way. Another great offer, and we hope that many of the companies that are participating will offer a matching program. So check with your employer to see if that perhaps they can double the gift that you make to the Philadelphia Orchestra tonight. Please call our volunteers for your membership now. They're standing by at 1-800-457-8354. By pledging $100, your membership includes a Philadelphia Orchestra live performance CD of Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony and the Serenade for Strings. Or get cooking, yes, for Bravo 2, the orchestra's popular cookbook collection of favorite recipes. And of course, it's a great idea for Mother's Day as well, Lynn. Bravo 2, some wonderful recipes. Of course, we don't want Mom cooking on Mother's Day.
No, but if you are a mom, it is a great gift. You might treat yourself. Now, if you're interested in the $150 membership, you'll find that it entitles you to your own VHS of the Great Performances special presentation, The Maestros of Philadelphia. If you haven't heard the number enough, here it is, 1-800-457-8354. If you dial that number right now with a $500 or more pledge, we'll give you one of each of the gifts you've seen. That's perfect if you're someone like me who has a tough time choosing. You can also own a piece of orchestra history. Pledge $3,500 or more, and you'll receive the couch and chair used by Maestros Sawallisch and Moody, and the countless guest artists and conductors who visited their office. Yours by calling that number that you see on the screen. Maestro Sawallisch is beloved in Philadelphia and around the globe as a gifted pianist, highly regarded chamber musician, and one of the leading conductors of our time. His story next, as told in PBS's Great Performances, The Maestros of Philadelphia.
I'm very happy to make music. For me, music is my life. And from the very first minute of the first rehearsal, I tried to have really a friendship on musical sense, that the musicians understand what I wish to do, what's my feeling about music. And this makes a very, very intimate atmosphere, and I like the atmosphere during the rehearsals, and I try to bring it over even in performances.
We are being exposed to a variety of musical styles now, and he has his own ideas in each of these pieces that we're playing, a little bit different than both Muti and Normandy.
I will not say I come as a German conductor to this orchestra. I am a European conductor, that's true, but I hope that I can bring with me a big repertoire of international music. The sound of the Philadelphia Orchestra is for me a special sound, and I like this for all kinds of music. Of course, there are different sounds for Mozart or for French music or for Russian music or Czech music, but the musicians are the same, and it is the must for a conductor to bring out the different styles of music. I am not a pianist, and I never will play or perform a piano concerto. But to work with 3, 4, 5 people, good musicians of my orchestra, I like very much. In making chamber music, the very close connection between the pianist and the orchestra musicians makes the contact between the conductor and the orchestra musicians much closer.
It was a great experience because it was a new dimension to me, working with a maestro, because when he's in the podium, he's the chef. Being part of a chamber music concert with him, there he became part of the 5 persons.
For me, the dialogue between the conductor and the musicians is a very lively one, because all the reactions of the musicians must come prior from the conductor. And he is not alone. He is underlined, he is helped by 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 musicians. As a conductor, on stage, on your podium, of course, you are absolutely alone. But you have the aid and the help of a lot of musicians, and that's wonderful.
Well, we're happy to be joined now by the Mayor of Philadelphia, Ed Rendell. And Mr. Mayor, thank you for coming by. Certainly an important effort tonight by all of Philadelphia and Southern New Jersey in trying to support this great asset, the Philadelphia Orchestra.
Well, that's correct, and it is a great asset. You know, number one, the Philadelphia Orchestra is important for our civic pride. When it goes on tour around the world, people react just incredibly. The Philadelphia Orchestra is coming to Santiago, Chile. It's a big deal, and we as Philadelphians feel enormous pride in having one of the world-renowned orchestra. But secondly, the orchestra serves as a great economic development tool, because as you know, one of the things we've tried to do is make Philadelphia a vibrant, exciting place, a center for art and culture and fun and recreation and festivals, and the orchestra is a part of that, whether it's our Welcome America Festival, the Marian Anderson Award, things like that, or just by being here doing wonderful and creative music. It helps the development of a city. So it's very, very important. And again, the orchestra has to be supported by a wide range of businesses, foundations, and just ordinary citizens who love it. And, you know, if you've only got $5 or $10 out there you'd like to contribute, that helps. It helps enormously. And I think the orchestra is very proud of the fact that it has a broad base of support, that it's not just, you know, wealthy people. It's ordinary citizens who love great classical music. And that's why these telethons are so important.
And certainly this is a first, Mayor, the first major Cablethon for the Philadelphia Orchestra, and Comcast and cable operators throughout the Philadelphia and New Jersey area are very happy to get behind a really unique effort tonight.
Oh, no question. I mean, we've had, we were known for our radiothons on WFLN, and of course, unfortunately, we don't have WFLN as a classical music station, but thanks to Comcast and all the operators getting together, I think we have an expanded reach, and I hope we're doing great. And if you're watching us out there, this is the time. This is a great orchestra. It should be a great source of civic pride to us. And even if you don't love classical music, understand the importance of this orchestra to all of the things we're trying to do here in Philadelphia, and send that check in.
Well, one more question. You had the opportunity to conduct the Philadelphia Orchestra at Veterans Stadium before a Phillies game. What was that like?
Well, I had the fanatic leaning over my back, number one, and if you've ever had that experience, that in and of itself is unusual. But two, it's such a great orchestra that even I couldn't screw it up.
Mayor Rendell, thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure. And remember, checks, send those checks.
Very well. Let's go back now to Karen Friedman.
Thanks, Pat. The mayor could not have said it better. You know, the orchestra has a very ambitious agenda to share the gift of music, and the money raised tonight will go toward funding free concerts for students, enhancing instrument instruction and music education in schools, as well as developing programs to bring the orchestra out into the community. They need your support. They need it badly. It will make a difference. So just call our volunteers at 1-800-457-8354. You can become a member of the Philadelphia Orchestra Association with a partially deductible donation of at least $50, and you'll receive this beautiful keychain as well as 3 free open rehearsal passes and a subscription to the association newsletter. Imagine the thrill of going behind the scenes with your favorite orchestra. You can also double your gift with a corporate match. So check with your employer to see if they are participating. A lot of employers do, and it's certainly a great way to make your donation go further. Now, if you give $75, your membership includes this limited edition poster custom that is designed just for the Philadelphia Orchestra. And if your walls are full, well, there's an option for you. Choose a t-shirt from international artist Sam Mayton. Again, the phone number to call, 1-800-457-8354. For a $100 membership, you can get an all Tchaikovsky recording performed live by the orchestra. For the gourmet, you may want to pick up a copy of Bravo 2, which happens to be the best-selling cookbook of the Philadelphia Orchestra. It includes the Mrs. and Maestro Sawallisch's favorite recipes. And for $150, well, there's more. You'll get a VHS tape of the complete PBS Great Performances special presentation of the Maestros of Philadelphia, and that is something that you certainly can enjoy at any time. If you choose to become a $500 member, well, you're in luck. We'll give you one of everything. You'll get a gift for every music fan in your family. So remember, you can use your Visa, your MasterCard, Discover, American Express, whatever you have, and the best part is, some of your gift is tax deductible. Once again, please call now, 1-800-457-8354. Our volunteers are waiting to hear from you. We want to give them something else to do. And we're still waiting for you to call in with that big pledge. Remember what it is? $3,500 or more. But listen to what you get. You get a one-of-a-kind collector's piece. It is the couch and the chair used by Maestros Sawallisch's and Muti. So take it home by calling 1-800-457-8354. Pat, what a gift that would be, huh?
Yes, it is, but we don't, and we're hoping that someone will take advantage of that opportunity tonight. Well, I'm happy to be joined now by Catherine Picked-Reid, a cellist with the orchestra. You just performed the Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5, Catherine. Tell us a little bit about the atmosphere and the excitement around the performance tonight.
Oh, it was very exciting, Pat, especially because we all knew that we were able to be heard by so many other people in the greater Delaware Valley and New Jersey that ordinarily might not have had an opportunity to hear us. And I hope this is something that we can build on and grow with in the future.
And of course, we're also exposing it to a radio audience on the Temple public radio station as well.
Yes, I think that's also so very important for those people out there that may not have access to cable television to still have that medium that will allow people to hear our performance as well.
Now, you're also a member of the Marketing Board Committee. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect in the 1998-1999 concert season here at the Academy of Music.
Oh, I'd be glad to. Some of the highlights for next year include 3 festival weeks that we're going to offer. The first one will be in November, and it will be a festival of American music led by our Emmy-winning conductor, David Zinman. And Evelyn Glennie, a fantastic percussionist, is going to perform the Christopher Rouse Concerto for Percussion and Orchestra as a highlight. And the next festival will be in March. It will feature Impressionism and will feature works by Debussy and Ravel. The final festival week will be in April, and it will be dedicated to Richard Strauss. It will commemorate the 50th anniversary of his death, and we'll be doing a number of his tone poems, such as Don Juan, Death and Transfiguration, and Dance of the Seven Veils from the opera Salome. So if any of you are interested in more information about next season, you should call the number at the bottom of your screen. And after you've given your pledge, I'm sure the operators will be more than happy to send you a brochure containing all the information you'll need about next season. And also, I'd like to mention that we have a website. I'm not sure that was mentioned this evening, and the address is www.philorch.org, which is Philorch.
Catherine, thank you very much. We appreciate you stopping by, and congratulations to all the members of the orchestra on a great performance tonight.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, coming up yet, we have a cellist, Yo-Yo Ma, one of the most sought-after performers in the world for orchestral, recital, and chamber music appearances. His 45-plus albums have garnered multiple Grammy Awards, including his latest for a recording with the Philadelphia Orchestra. Yesterday, Comcast Stephanie Lowe had a chance to sit down with this renowned performer.
Joining me is internationally acclaimed cellist Yo-Yo Ma. Welcome back to Philadelphia.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
When classical music lovers think of a cello, they think of you, Mr. Ma. Why does your sound have such widespread appeal?
Well, I don't know whether it's my sound, but I think the sound of the cello is really, it goes all the way. It's the human voice. It's the whole range of the human voice. And I think possibly when people think of the cello, or they think of someone speaking to them.
What's so special about the Philadelphia Orchestra's musicians and sound that keeps you returning?
The Philadelphia Orchestra is so special, and I think the best way that I can think of putting it is that each musician can play as one person, and all of them can play as one group, as one individual at the same time. often I've played in the orchestra after playing a concerto with them, and those are some of the most thrilling moments because you're part of an organization that's much bigger than yourself.
You're a regular guest with the Philadelphia Orchestra, despite a full performing and recording schedule. Why is it so important for you to perform with the Philadelphia Orchestra?
For me, every time I come and play anything with the Philadelphia Orchestra, whether it's here or at the Mann Center in Saratoga, wherever, I have to say, these guys, these people really know how to make a moment happen. There's never a dull concert. Everybody somehow gets it together. Maybe they're late for this, that, things are going on in their lives, but at the concert, everything comes together. And you can say that about very few things where you have that unity of feeling and energy. And I get a thrill out of it, and I hope other people do also.
You gave your first public recital at age 5. That must have been frightening.
That was last year.
Of course it was. Why is music education so vital for youngsters?
Well, I think what makes music so wonderful is that it deals with someone's inner life. And, we have a lot of things, ways of measuring external things, but it's harder to measure the internal. And I think all of music, most of music, deals with incredible feelings and thoughts, and for someone to be able to identify what something is, whether it existed a long time ago or today or tomorrow, and to be able to communicate that to another human being in a socially acceptable way, I think that is absolutely amazing. So if education can do that and help people get to those special places, it's definitely worth it.
Okay. Why should people give tonight to support the Philadelphia Orchestra's programs?
I think people should give tonight to support the orchestra's programs because you're here. And I think because the orchestra is not just an old tradition, it's a living tradition. And I think it's aiming towards the future because what the orchestra does and music does for all of us is that it's a glue that that actually makes us come together as a city, as a group, and as a nation, and I think there are very few organizations that do what the Philadelphia Orchestra does.
Thank you, Mr. Ma, and best wishes on your performance.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And on that note, I have to tell you that I certainly have one of the honors, one of the highlights of the evening. Joining me right now is the Philadelphia Orchestra's music director, Maestro Wolfgang Sawallisch. Bravo on that performance. I mean, what a wonderful, wonderful performance of Tchaikovsky's Fifth. How would you determine or explain what is so special about conducting the Fifth?
I think the biggest speciality is for an orchestra and for a conductor to do something we never did before. Tonight, to perform a concert for Cablethon, and this is really a great challenge for us, a great possibility, and of course we have not chosen the Fifth Symphony by Tchaikovsky for this event, but to do this for the first time for the orchestra and for me for such a great event, this is a special.
And as we were talking right before we went on, you shared with me that it is your 52nd year, which is really wonderful, and you keep everything very fresh and very alive.
Yeah.
Now, I know you started in Germany.
Yes.
But what makes performing in Philadelphia unique or special?
Certainly the collaboration with this top orchestra. This orchestra is not only for me, but for everybody knowing about music, is one of the greatest instruments in the world, and a performance by the Philadelphia Orchestra in any place of the world is really a special event, and this makes the collaboration, makes music so wonderful for me as a conductor, knowing a lot of different orchestras, of course, all over the world, but to work with the Philadelphia Orchestra, it gives me such a great fun and satisfaction It is really unique.
And you're actually getting ready to take the Philadelphia Orchestra on tour.
Yeah.
You are going to,
First to San Francisco, to the West Coast and California for 5 concerts. And then we go to Mexico,
right.
and South America in Buenos Aires, Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, and Santiago de Chile.
What will you be performing while you're on tour?
We have the 5th Symphony by Tchaikovsky on the program, and then we have the 8th Symphony by Dvorak, the 7th Symphony by Beethoven, the 1st Symphony by Carl Maria von Weber. It's more or less unknown. Very important, the 1st Symphony by Samuel Barber as a piece of contemporary American music. Then we have the Hindemith Metamorphosis about themes by Carl Maria von Weber, Oriente Overture, and
so it's very diverse. It's very diversified.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
But how do you actually go about making the selection? You know, you're going to all of these countries. How do you really figure out what it is that would be best for you to perform?
Yeah. First of all, we have to think what we perform during a season. Of course, because at the end of a long season, we have to make like a puzzle. Yeah, we bring together all these pieces and programs in different series during the season, and then we offer these works to the presenters in the different cities, and they can choose what they like. And this is sometimes very interesting, to offer something and to have the answers about program ideas, wishes, and so on. And after a long discussion or longer discussions, we at the very last end we have the programs for the tour.
So the orchestra, in a sense, since you're touring the world, becomes almost like an ambassador for Philadelphia.
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, of course, for Philadelphia, for the city, for the United States, and for the music. And I think to be an ambassador for music, this is most important and significant for our job. You understand? To bring the music to the people of all parts of the world and to bring joy and fun.
You know, I imagine that your fascination with music began at a very early age. I think you said...
I was 5 years old.
5 years old.
I started to be a pianist.
So I have to ask, I mean, people always ask great musicians this question. Who inspired you?
In an age of 5?
Well, I guess.
Nobody.
Nobody? Not your mother or your father? I mean, why, why the piano?
It was a visit in my grandfather's home. He has a piano. I had a piano. And as a young boy, I played on the piano and I tried to find all the right notes of known music, known melodies sung by my mother, yeah. And I found immediately the right notes between white and black. And my grandfather said to my father, I believe that your son is interested in music. Buy him a piano and he should learn piano playing. And my father did it. And from this moment on, I don't know how many hours a day I was on the piano.
But it was something you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you hear so many stories about children, they make them practice the piano and then they don't want to. And then, I mean, I was a product of that. My father finally got tired of it, but at any rate. But do you think that it's true that to become great, in most cases, you really need to be encouraged or start at a young age?
I believe, yes. You have to start in a very young age and to work very hard and very intensive, and then you have the chance to come up.
So even more reason why donations to the Philadelphia Orchestra are important in the continuing of music education is just essential.
Absolutely. And this is one of our most important goals, to bring the music to young people, to make the young people understand that the music is a part of our life. And this we have to do.
Well, thank you very much. It has been an honor and a pleasure, and good luck on
Thank
your
you.
tour. And we're very, very grateful that you took the time out to join us this
Thank you very
evening.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lynn, back to you.
Karen, thank you. You're right. That absolutely was the highlight of the evening, along with the performance. We appreciate the maestro stopping by. And now we're delighted to be joined by Philadelphia Orchestra violinist Paul Arnold and assistant principal bass Neil Courtney, who are both members of the Long Range Planning Board Committee. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Can you give me an idea of what the plans for the future include for the Philadelphia Orchestra?
Oh boy. Our plans for the future very much revolve around the construction and completion of a new facility down the street. Our beloved academy, as wonderful as it is, needs augmentation. We need to be able to realize the opportunities that a new hall can afford to us, including taking advantage of whatever new media opportunities there are.
And what will the new facility mean for the orchestra members like yourself?
Well, there are lots of plans for the future, for community outreach, increased educational activities in the community, and the new hall will make it possible to do those things. There will be special rooms set aside for educational purposes. And we hope it to be a rich cultural opportunity for people to focus with the orchestra as a focus of cultural activities and music in the community.
Why is that so important, that the community have that kind of focus?
Well, the orchestra needs the support. The orchestra is practically a national resource, and it needs the support of the community, and it wouldn't get that support unless the people realized what it meant to them. We feel we're giving music, and we hope that they feel they're receiving from and they can take from it, so it would be to their benefit in the future and Philadelphia's benefit.
We also feel that the whole musical experience is greatly enhanced when people interpret it as an interactive experience, not just something that happens to them, but something that they're very much involved in, and those opportunities will be afforded us.
Can you give us an example of how some of the money that we are raising here this evening with the first ever Cablethon will be used not only here at the Philadelphia Orchestra, but in the community?
I think there's no underestimating the emphasis that education has and the meaning that education has for the community at large. We've had sort of modest in-school programs this year that have been very enriching, not only for students, but for us as well. We'd love to expand those programs enormously.
Gentlemen, thank you. We wish you continued success. It was really wonderful to see you. I do have to point out that Paul does have his instrument with him. He never goes anywhere without it.
This is my laundry.
Today's incredible performances have been presented courtesy of a cooperative effort of major cable companies. This first-time event is an unprecedented cooperative effort to raise funds for the Philadelphia Orchestra, and we extend our thanks to Adelphia, Wade Cable, Lower Bucks Cablevision, Suburban Cable, Greater Media Cable, Heron Communications, the Cable Television Network of New Jersey, and Comcast. Plus, we would like to thank our media sponsor, the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News. Pat, without them, this evening would not have been possible.
Absolutely, and we certainly appreciate their support. And it was great to hear the members of the orchestra tonight talk about the meaningfulness of getting out into the community with the arts education and the types of efforts that they're doing with the youngsters in bringing music to them. They really, I think, appreciate the opportunity to do this tonight. And of course, each season the orchestra presents a glittering roster of artists, guest conductors, and world premieres. In the words of Maestro Sawallisch, they perform programs to excite the ear and engage the mind. The orchestra consistently maintains the highest standards of traditional symphonic music while remaining at the forefront of new repertoires and advanced technologies. They offer programs for everyone, from first-time concert-goers to aficionados. And certainly, Lynn, for me tonight, I have to admit this was my first time, and it was just magnificent.
And me as well, but I may be back because I really did enjoy the program. And if you are enjoying tonight's program, we ask that you please take a moment to ensure that others can experience this great and timeless art form. The love of music, as we have seen, can be inspirational, and it does last a lifetime. If you've been inspired please call us at 1-800-457-8354. As you can see, the phone lines are very busy, but do try to give us a call. Our volunteers are waiting to hear from you, and they will be there for several more minutes to take your calls. If you think that individual contributions don't make a difference, please think again, because the orchestra has always relied on the support of volunteers and people in the community like you who appreciate all that they do and they can do in the future. Your dollars count, so call now. That number again is 1-800-457-8354. It is partially tax deductible, and as we have told you throughout the evening, you can charge it on your Visa, MasterCard, or Discover. Your gift will go to support the orchestra's trend-setting educational programs like the kid-friendly family concerts, Sound All Around, the interactive shows for preschoolers, and docent and orchestra member visits to schools. And Pat, do you know what it's like for a kid to have an orchestra member come in and tell them about the orchestra and what it does?
It doesn't get any better than that, Lynn, I'm sure. And here's what one young fan wrote after experiencing a performance at high school. He wrote, "Dear orchestra member, I just want to thank you for coming to our school to play for us. I really enjoyed it. How could you find all the time to practice with your instruments? I wish someday I could hear the whole orchestra play." Hopefully that fan was watching tonight, Lynn. That young fan could become a fan forever, or perhaps a great musician. Open their eyes, and there is no telling what they will see. And fans don't have to be young. The orchestra has outlined an aggressive plan to reach a wider and more diverse audience. The money we get tonight will be used to fund outreach programs to churches and community centers to make the arts accessible to everyone. Your gift can help spread the joys of classical music and the magic of live performance. We'll be right back with pianist Emmanuel Axe and more of Maestros after this break.
We'll be back with more of Philadelphia Orchestra Live.
And advanced technologies. They offer programs for everyone, from first-time concert goers to aficionados. And certainly, Lynn, for me tonight, I have to admit this was my first time, and it was just magnificent.
And me as well. But I may be back because I really did enjoy the program. And if you are enjoying tonight's program, we ask that you please take a moment to ensure that others can experience this great and timeless art form. The love of music, as we have seen, can be inspirational, and it does last a lifetime. If you've been inspired, please call us at 1-800-457-8354. As you can see, the phone lines are very busy, but do try to give us a call. Our volunteers are waiting to hear from you, and they will be there for several more minutes to take your calls. If you think that individual contributions don't make a difference, please think again, because the orchestra has always relied on the support of volunteers and people in the community like you who appreciate all that they do and they can do in the future. Your dollars count, so call now. That number again is 1-800-457-8354. It is partially tax deductible, and as we have told you throughout the evening, you can charge it on your Visa, MasterCard, or Discover. Your gift will go to support the orchestra's trend-setting educational programs like the kid-friendly family concerts, Sound All Around, the interactive shows for preschoolers, and docent and orchestra member visits to schools. And Pat, do you know what it's like for a kid to have an orchestra member come in and tell them about the orchestra and what it does?
It doesn't get any better than that, Lynn, I'm sure. And here's what one young fan wrote after experiencing a performance at high school. He wrote, "Dear orchestra member, I just want to thank you for coming to our school to play for us. I really enjoyed it. How could you find all the time to practice with your instruments? I wish someday I could hear the whole orchestra play." Hopefully that fan was watching tonight, Lynn. That young fan could become a fan forever, or perhaps a great musician. Open their eyes, and there is no telling what they will see. And fans don't have to be young. The orchestra has outlined an aggressive plan to reach a wider and more diverse audience. The money we get tonight will be used to fund outreach programs to churches and community centers to make the arts accessible to everyone. Your gift can help spread the joys of classical music and the magic of live performance. We'll be right back with pianist Emmanuel Axe and more of Maestros after this break.
participate with them, indeed. I tried to get forms growing up out of the conductor's baton, and so that's why those big abstract forms flow and gyrate and kind of fill the whole air in the poster.
Well, Sam and Lois, thank you very much. Certainly anyone who witnessed the performance tonight realizes that this is the best orchestra in the world, and certainly we hope that you'll take advantage of those two thank you gifts that Lois and Sam have had such a hand in producing for tonight's telecast and to support the Philadelphia Orchestra. Okay, Karen, now what's cooking back in the Ormandy room?
Well, actually, we are still cooking back here, Pat, and I have to comment, that is a great poster. I mean, something really worth having. But as long as you said cooking, then let's stay on that topic. If you're hungry for more, stay tuned for another segment from the spectacular PBS Great Performances special presentation, The Maestros of Philadelphia. You do, however, have just a few minutes before it starts, so of course, that is plenty of time to find your wallet, get your credit card, empty your kids' piggy bank. Well, and you probably don't want to do that, but whatever you have to do to make a pledge to support the Philadelphia Orchestra. Next, meet the women who have been lending their support in a tradition that goes back over 90 years.
Well, 1904, the orchestra was about to collapse. The guarantors had kept it going for the 3 years, and after 3 years, things were beginning to dissolve as far as the audiences were concerned. So they came to these women and said, well, too bad, you know, we're doing our best for you, but we're not getting the exposure. So that's when the girls rolled up the ladies, I should say, rolled up their arms, their sleeves, and said, we are going to work. These ladies went all out. These women stormed the editors of these 10 newspapers in the city and said, it's just as good as the Liberty Bell. We have got to keep our orchestra going. We can't let it die. They got together. Mrs. A.J. Dallas Dixon was named the president and stayed that way for 8 years. They raised the funds for guarantors and they sold tickets to keep it going while it really got on its feet. Then there was another time they paraded on Broad Street and put banners across the street to stop just anybody on the street and say, look, we're going to lose our orchestra unless you support it. And that has been the attitude and the work ethic with the volunteers ever since. During the war, they had this space in the academy, the Stage Door Canteen, down in the basement. This group of women decided it would be wonderful to make it into a place for all the servicemen to come and be treated with motherly care and to have music and coffee and soft drinks and to have a few young types flitting around to do the jitterbug with them. Well, I knew how to do the jitterbug, so I was asked to volunteer. And I guess that's the way it started. Then I got hooked. It was fun. I had the job for a while of being in charge of the guest soloists and conductors coming to the city. That meant you made sure they got met as they were winging into Philadelphia. And most of them were absolutely so appreciative and so wonderful. And they would say, oh, gee, just a beer and a hot dog would be wonderful. Don't give us a great fancy sit-down kind of a thing. Van Cliburn had to have a blue Cadillac to drive him around. Interesting little things like that kind of liven the job up a bit. Some of them are prima donnas and fun to work with. Absolutely fascinating. This is one of the perks of being of this kind of a job. You get to know some pretty fancy people. I guess in the vernacular you could call me a groupie.
It's kind of hard to pinpoint when the orchestra really influenced my life because it's been so much a part of my life for so many years. And as our kids were growing up, we always took them to the children's concerts and they loved it, so they've grown up with music. It's just been a part of all of our lives and a very important part of it. We all need things like food and shelter and places to live, and those are the physical things that are important, but music is another component. It's on another level. I guess it sounds trite to say, but it really is food for the soul. I guess it was sometime in the 70s. I was asked to join the Old York Road Committee, and when I was asked to join, I did so very happily and gratefully because I had always been so committed to the orchestra, and this just gave me a chance to work for it in a different way. We'd always been subscribers. We'd always gone to the concerts. My father-in-law was on the board in the 60s, Bernard Frankel, so it was something I really wanted to continue. I got embroiled and involved, and it just sort of took off, and I have absolutely adored doing every minute of it. I think it's important for people to know that what they pay for tickets doesn't begin to cover the cost of the concert. And so the additional money that's raised by volunteers really goes for running the orchestra. Really, in many respects, it's part of the lifeblood of the orchestra. It's what keeps them going day by day. I see the volunteers as an arm into the community. They're a liaison group, and it works both ways. They can get the pulse of the community and relay that back to orchestra management, to orchestra musicians. As far as education is concerned, we have docents that go into the schools that help to educate them as far as music is concerned.
You'd feel for the music appreciation teachers because they're dying to do more for the students, and they simply can't. And that's where the work that we do through the school system is so vitally important in this day and age. It's not the same world, that's for sure, and if you don't have the education, you're not going to get the future audiences.
Being involved with the orchestra to the extent that I have has changed my life in many ways. First of all, I feel as though my days are much better spent doing something worthwhile and contributing something that I feel is important. I have met lots and lots of interesting people and made many, many, many good friends among volunteers, musicians, staff. I've loved every second of it, and I'm still working pretty hard down there. Not as much as I used to, but...
So much of it has to do, I think, also with a certain amount of joie de vivre that you get from loving something, say, like music. You know, the spiritual, everything connected with music, with beauty, with joy, kind of infuses you. And if you're lucky enough and work at it, to pass it on. You know, come on, join us. This is fun.
Well, volunteers have been taking calls all night, and if you haven't picked up your phone yet, now is the time to do so. There's still some time remaining at 1-800-457-8354. We've still got great gifts to give away, starting with a keychain with our basic $50 membership, which gives you access to free performances and educational programs for 1 year. There are also tax benefits to giving, and it's as easy as pulling out your credit card. Join as a $75 member and get artist Sam Mayton's custom design poster. Or pick the same special design of this limited edition t-shirt. For a $100 pledge, choose a CD of the orchestra in a live performance of Tchaikovsky, or head for the kitchen with a copy of the orchestra's cookbook, Bravo 2. It's a great collection of recipes. For $150, you can complete or own the complete Maestros program on video, a portion of which you've seen tonight. But first, we invite you to call our volunteers at 1-800-457-8354. Now, if you can't decide which gift you want, well, why not take one of each by pledging $500? Maybe you can turn it into a $1,000 pledge with a corporate matching gift. Check with your corporation or company for details. And of course, don't pass up a rare opportunity to own the Maestro's couch and chair. It's the real thing, used by Maestros Sawallisch and Moody. A unique collector's item for a pledge of $3,500. And Lynn, someone has the opportunity to put that in their home or office this evening.
And what a conversation piece that would be. Now, if you missed any of the segments of the Maestros of Philadelphia, don't worry, because we've got you covered. Because become a $150 Philadelphia Orchestra Association member, and we'll send you 3 passes to open rehearsals of the orchestra, the association newsletter, and the complete Maestros program on videotape, produced for PBS's great performances. Call our volunteers now at 1-800-457-8354, and you'll have your own copy of the whole history, from Fritz Schiele to Leopold Tchaikovsky to Eugene Ormandy, Riccardo Muti, and our own Wolfgang Sawallisch. You can use your credit card and call now, and please remember that a portion of your pledge is tax deductible. $150, and you get to go behind the scenes of one of the world's most renowned orchestras. Plus, enjoy their stirring music and inspiring story whenever the mood strikes. As I said, volunteers are waiting to take your call. Joining me now is the orchestra's biggest fan, Joe Kluger, who is the president of the Philadelphia Orchestra. How could you describe this evening's event, Joe?
Lynn, this has been so spectacular. I can't tell you how grateful we are to all of you for lending us your airwaves to deliver the orchestra's music to the people of the Philadelphia region. It's just been a fabulous success.
Why do you think that the Philadelphia Orchestra is so popular to the people who have supported it in the past?
I think if you heard the performance of the Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 5 tonight, you could just feel the emotion in the sound that they make. It's one of the greatest sounds in the world, and those of us who live in Philadelphia are really privileged to have one of the great orchestras in our own backyard.
And what do you say to supporters to try to get them to reach into their pockets, pick up the telephone, and make that donation, which is so important this evening?
One of the things that people may not realize is that to maintain a world-class orchestra, we not only need to have support to attract and retain the greatest musicians in the world, but to make sure that there are audiences in the future, we're investing a tremendous amount in our education programs, in our outreach programs, in bringing the orchestra around the world. We're leaving on Monday for a 3-week tour of California, Mexico, and South America, and it's a very expensive proposition, and the ticket sales only cover a portion of the costs.
Of course, you have mentioned how expensive it is. What role do corporate sponsors play in the continuation of the success of the orchestra?
Well, as you know, we were very fortunate tonight to have Cigna Delaware Group and the Sun Company, along with Comcast and the other cable networks, and the 2 newspapers, Philadelphia Inquirer and the Daily News, supporting this event. And I think it's because the businesses recognize that to maintain a quality of life that enables them to attract employees to work for their company, to enable them to attract customers, you've got to have arts and cultural life for the people, their employees and their customers, and the orchestra is one of those organizations that makes the Philadelphia region a really vibrant place to live and work.
Finally, how would you characterize the future for the Philadelphia Orchestra?
On November 16th, 2000, we'll be celebrating our 100th anniversary, and the technological experiment we did tonight convinces me that as we move into the 21st century, we're going to be able to use technology to bring this passionate music to people throughout the world.
Let's bring back Pat Scanlon and Karen Friedman, our co-hosts this evening. It has been a very exciting 3 hours, would you agree?
It's been absolutely spectacular. I think, Joe, for many of us to witness the orchestra performance tonight and to see Maestro Sawallisch and everyone so vibrant, it really was a remarkable night and an eye-opening experience for many of us who may not have the opportunity to get out and see an orchestra like yours.
I would be remiss if I didn't thank Lynn, Pat, Karen, for your help this evening. We're particularly grateful to Comcast and all the cable networks. Ralph Roberts really helped us to really put this together at the last minute. And to the hundreds of volunteers led by our president, Tony Garrison, and president of the volunteer committees, and dozens of staff members who really made this possible, I really need to thank all of them for helping us out. Lastly, I want to thank Maestro Sawallisch and the musicians of the Philadelphia Orchestra for their cooperation tonight and for being able to bring you this really spectacular performance. And lastly, to the public tuning in tonight, we recognize that it's only through your support that we can maintain a world-class orchestra.
Karen, you had a different perspective tonight, having the opportunity to be backstage in the Ormond Room. Your impressions of tonight's event?
Well, my impressions, obviously being a part of it, you know, my impressions are certainly top-notch, but I think what really impressed me was the just the sincerity of the people that we interviewed. And you're dealing with a really exceptional group, not only in personalities, but in talent. But, you know, something that really did stand out. If you remember, every single person that we interviewed back in the Ormandy group all pointed out how important music education is. Not just from the standpoint of learning more about music, but really making music part of your life. And I think it goes toward the core and the heart of what music is about, what children are all about, and really explains why it is so important to support organizations, groups like the Philadelphia Orchestra, especially the Philadelphia Orchestra.
Absolutely. Well, Lynn, a final comment before we close?
Well, I just think that it's outstanding that all of the various cable companies joined with Comcast this evening in presenting this first ever Cablethon here in Philadelphia, and it couldn't have been for a better cause, the Philadelphia Orchestra. So we certainly appreciate all of your support. And very quickly, thanks to our crew who put all of this together, because without them, none of us would be here.
In the words, the word that is probably most appropriate tonight is bravo to our technical crew, to all the folks in the truck, to Joe Kluger and his staff for making this a wonderful evening for all of us in the New Jersey and Philadelphia area. We hope you enjoyed the first ever Cablethon, Philadelphia Orchestra Live, and we'll now leave you with a look back at tonight's performance of Tchaikovsky's Fifth. Good night, everybody.